Hello, I'm Tom Booker, Senior Instructor. Thank you for joining me. This video tutorial is for our honors students. These are the skills you're learning in our A lessons for your second achievement stripe during our autumn term. The skills we're going over in this video tutorial are Yul-Gok Hyung, applying the 3 merits of a good pattern. Good technique, power, and focus. The vertical back fist working from the X stance position. The double inner forearm block, which is a supported or augmented blocking skill. The side kick, backhand strike, reverse elbow strike combination, and the back leg round kick. Please use this tutorial to help you practice your karate skills at home. Hello, thank you for joining me. We are going to be working together with Yul-Gok Hyung. And for your second achievement stripe, we're working with the 3 merits of a good pattern. Good technique, power, and focus. We'll start with good technique. What this means is that everything that we are doing as correctly as we possibly can. And that includes our stances, the way that we are standing. Our stances provide the foundation for everything else that we do. So if I am doing a hooking block, I want a good, solid, stable front stance. If I don't have that, if my stance is weak, out of balance, it will affect everything else that I do. So our first time through Yul-Gok together, we're going to focus on just the stances. Now the stances that we're going to see in this particular pattern are the horse stance. Knees bent, feet out wide, toes pointing forward, head and shoulders over your hips and feet. Your weight is equally taken on both legs. We're also going to see the front stance, front knee bent, back leg straight. This is also sometimes called a forward balance stance. It's long and it's low, and it's also wide side to side, shoulder width wide. The L stance, also known as a back balance stance. It gets its name from the shape that my feet are making on the floor, like a big letter L. And I'm carrying about 75% of my weight on my back leg here. The closed stance. My feet come completely together. My knees are a little bit bent. This is a transitional position. It comes and it goes very quickly, but we want to be able to recognize it when we see it. And finally, we're going to be seeing the X stance, also called the crane stance. It gets its name from the shape that my legs are making as they cross over. Most of my weight is on one leg, in this case my left. Toes of my right foot are just resting gently against the floor. We'll see one of these in Yul-Gok. All right, let's carry on. Let's have a look at the pattern. We'll do the hand techniques as well, but we're really going to focus on stances here. Move back a little bit. We're starting in a parallel ready stance, something we're all real used to. And let's begin. We have a horse stance here. Closed stance very briefly as I move in between and then back out into a horse stance. Front stance, 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 another closed stance, front stance, L stance, front stance, L stance, front stance, front stance, front stance, X stance, front stance, front stance, and then back to our parallel ready stance. All right, when we're focusing on good technique, first merit of a good pattern, it's a good idea to take it slowly. Again, what I'm trying for here is to just make sure that everything I'm doing as correctly as possible. I don't want to be rushed, sloppy, or off balance with anything that I do. All right, let's take that together one more time. Now that we've looked at the stances, let's put the whole thing together. We're not going to name anything together. Let's just do this together. Take your time. Get those stances right. Hey! Right, that is Yul-Gok, working with good technique. Everything we're doing as correctly as possible. Take your time. Don't rush. All right, we'll continue our work with Yul-Gok with the second merit of a good pattern, which is power. Power is what makes our good technique effective. Good technique helps us direct and utilize our power effectively. They work together. Now, for power, typically we're generating power by moving more quickly, especially if you're talking about a striking or a kicking technique. occasionally, and we see this in Yul-Gok, we'll be creating our power a little bit differently with a focus technique or a pressing technique that is moving much more slowly, as those hooking blocks do. For this, what we want to do is take a deep breath in and then breathe out as we do that pressing technique. All right, so let's look at Yul-Gok with power. Again, we're not going to be naming the techniques together, and we'll have a look at this side on. From our parallel ready stance, we're going to start off with a pressing technique. And following up with two full speed techniques, moving quickly. Pressing technique again. And then full speed. And another set of pressing techniques. All right, that is Yul-Gok. Second merit of a good pattern, power. We'll finish up our work with Yul-Gok by applying the third merit of a good pattern, which is focus. Now, what focus means is basically look at what you're doing and look where you're going. If I am doing a set of punches, I'm looking right where those punches are going to go. My focus is on my target. I'm not looking up at the ceiling. I'm not looking down at the floor. I'm not looking over my shoulder at the mirrors to see how pretty I am. I'm looking where my punches or my kick or my block is going. Look at what I'm doing. With a block, I can't block something if I'm not looking at it. Second part of this is look where you're going. When we are changing direction, we're turning, we look first. We lead with our eyes, and then our body is going to follow along. We look, and then the rest of us moves. We always want to lead with our eyes. It's very important. All right, we're going to work with Yul-Gok together, again, applying focus. And when we're changing directions, even if it's just a little bit, I'm going to call out look, just as a reminder to shift your eyes, shift your head. Your eyes, your neck should be very busy indeed when we're working with focus. And we'll look at this from the back. Again, we're starting in our parallel ready stance, looking straight ahead. And let's begin. Look. 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 Hey! Look. 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 Hey! Look. Look. That is Yul-Gok applying the third merit of a good pattern, focus. This is the vertical back fist. We're going to be working from the X stance. However, we will start this one by working from a simple L stance position, with my weight over my back leg. Closing my striking hand up into a fist, crossing it over on top, and the strike itself just moves up, over, and through this way. It's a fairly small movement of my arm. And looked at from the front, this is easy at the end to mistake for an inner forearm block, but it moves very differently and it works very differently. We're striking with the backside of our first two knuckles here. So it's up, over, and through here. We'll be working on this from an X stance position, just the way we see it in Yul-Gok. So we want to be sure that we're coming into a good, firm X stance. I'm bending my knees, settling down into it, and keeping nice and upright, keeping my head and shoulders over my hips and feet. I'm being careful not to bend at the hips here. If I'm doing that, I can have a good, solid position in my X stance. Now let's have a look at this on a target. Now we're going to start off just in our L stance and touch here. I want to make sure of my distance and my aim, that I'm able to reach with the back of those first two knuckles. If I'm a little too far away, the strike is going to miss. If I get in too close, I simply run out of room for this. But at the correct distance, it can be very, very effective. And I am in fairly close. After we've got our distance, then we'll touch and push into the target with the backside of those first two knuckles. Touch and push in. I want to make sure that I'm not having to lean to do my push, that I can simply do that with the striking arm. If I can do that, I'm at a proper distance. Then, we'll take it a little harder, just up, over, and strike. While it's a fairly small movement of the arm, it can be very, pardon me, it can be fairly powerful. Then I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to bring my back leg up, shift into my X stance, and touch. Moving forward into that X stance allows me to get in nice and close. Shift in and touch. Shift in and touch. Then we'll take it just a little faster and harder. Shift in, touch and push. Shift in, touch and push. Again, I want to make sure that I'm not having to lean in like that. And finally, a little faster and harder. Move in and strike. So I'm getting all my body mass moving forward, lending power to this back fist. So that is our vertical back fist from the X stance, just as we see in Yul-Gok.
Okay, let's take a look at the double inner forearm block. Basically, it's a supported or augmented inner forearm block. So what I'm going to do, we're going to do this like we're doing this from the pattern, Yul-Gok. Okay, we want to bring our fists together like so. Okay, and you want to look, you want to rotate to a front stance and bring your inner forearm block up front like this, and your other fist against your elbow, just like that. So basically, it's a smooth move. You're just going to move across and like so. So we're in closed stance, and then in a front stance. Okay, let's try it from the other side. Okay, we're going to come from this side. I'm going to look. I'm going to step into a front stance and double inner forearm block. Again, and then step into a front stance, into a double inner forearm block. So it's a very effective block. You can also use it as a strike. So it has a little extra power because you're actually supporting the inner forearm block. So, so I'm going to demonstrate, Mr. Booker, on how this block is executed. Okay, so I'm going to start in a closed stance like in the pattern, and Mr. Booker is going to hold the blocker out, and I'm just going to touch and push to start with. So I'm going to step towards him into a front stance and touch like so. I'm going to look, I'm going to turn and block. Again, and look, turn, block. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit harder, make it more like a strike. And look, and so. And like so. Okay, now Mr. Booker is going to swing the blocker. Okay, it could even be a kick or something. And I'm going to step into it and block it. Okay, and go. And go. One more time. And go. So this block can handle a pretty hard force. It could be a good hard punch. Could even be a kick, a high kick, I guess. And it's a good block against that. And that's the double inner forearm block. Thank you, Mr. Booker.
All right, this is our side kick, backhand strike, reverse elbow strike combination that we see in the pattern Yul-Gok. We'll start off in an L stance. We'll use our front leg for the side kick, just up and in, out, set down into a front stance. Front arm comes across and through in your backhand strike, and then I'm picking this back elbow up, shoulder high, and I'm pulling in to the forearm here. My striking surface is actually this broad part of the forearm right next to the elbow. We're not trying to engage the tip of the elbow here, so I'm going to be here at the end. So again, we're picking up the lead leg, side kick, setting down, backhand, and then reverse elbow, just as we see in the pattern. Now these are three techniques that you're already reasonably familiar with individually. The trick is putting them together into a combination, getting them to work together. So once more, up and in, kick, set down, backhand, and then pull in for the final elbow. Now after you've worked that in the air a bit and just gotten comfortable with meshing these together, we'll try them on a shield and a blocker. Just a minute, if I could have your help with this. So again, I'm starting in my L stance, and we're going to start just by finding our target. Up and in, kick here. I'm going to set down, backhand here, pull through a little bit, then come back in with my palm, pull in to that elbow strike. So again, it's going to be kick, backhand, elbow. And to start off, we're just working with our aim, we're working and finding a good distance. If I'm too far away, this is not going to work very well. Similarly, if I'm too close in, I run out of room. So be prepared to adjust your distance a little bit as you work with these. Okay, just find it, find it, find it. After the first few, we'll gradually take it a little faster and harder. 1, 2, 3. Both the backhand and the elbow can deliver a lot of power, so make sure that those are going against your target, not against your partner. Now the same thing is true of that side kick. Be firm with the kick, but don't blast your partner through the wall. Kick, backhand, and elbow. Once more, this is fun. Kick, backhand, elbow. I'm making a little dent in it. Thank you, Mr. President. Working with it on the shield, on the blocker this way, will give you a much better sense of how these techniques are meant to work together. When you see them, as you do your pattern, Yul-Gok. So that is the side kick, backhand, reverse elbow strike combination.
Okay, let's take a look at the back leg round kick from L stance, from the back stance. Okay, so you want to get into a good L stance. Okay, you want to start off by bringing your back knee up. You want to pivot on your base foot, bring your knee back, and throw that kick. Okay, make sure your foot shape, make sure you're pointing your toes like so, okay? And you want to strike your target with the top of your foot, not with your toes, but the top of the foot, the bony part of the foot. So let me demonstrate again. Okay. Knee up, pivot, kick, retract, and then step that foot down. Okay, knee up, pivot, bring the knee back, extend, retract, set your foot down. Let's try it from the other side. Okay, I'm gonna bring my knee up, pivot, kick, retract, and then step forward. Try that again. Knee up, pivot, kick, retract, and then step. Okay, this takes a little bit of practice because you gotta really work on balance. Okay, make sure when you're doing the kick, you wanna bring that knee back like so. Okay, and then when you kick, you wanna Do it really quick and then retract right away. Okay, so Mr. Booker's gonna assist me in demonstrating this kick. Okay. So of course you don't want to you want to have a good distance. You don't want to be too far back. If I'm too far back, I'm going to miss my target. Likewise, if I'm too close, I'm going to knee up. I'm going to hit the target with my shin. So I don't want to do that. So you really have to get a good distance. So we're going to start with just a touch and push. So I'm going to knee up, pivot, kick, retract, step down. Okay, knee up, pivot, kick, retract, sit down. And knee up, pivot, retract, like so. Okay, now I want to do a little bit, hit my target a little bit harder. Okay, knee up, pivot, kick. And again, knee up, pivot, kick. Okay, ready? Knee up, pivot, kick. Okay, it's very important to pivot that base foot, okay, because it aligns your hips so you can get that kick in there accurately. One more time. Knee up, pivot, kick, retract, sit down. Thank you, Mr. Booker. Okay, so that's the back leg round kick. Just make sure your foot shape, you're pointing your toes, and you're striking with the top of your foot.